Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Wednesday morning. Another beautiful day, but hot, hot, hot. Have you ever thought you visit Ontario, Canada, or you think of Canada being cold? You should be here in July. It's going to be over 100 degrees with the humid X today, so it's going to be pretty ugly. You're going to get up golfing early this afternoon. It's supposed to be just disgusting. So we'll be in the air conditioning working and doing more work on ultimatesportschannel.com. And we're coming to you today we with our PGA show, and actually with two tournaments to cover. But first, we're going to talk about the expansion of the show. And, we're going to say to all of you that are regular fans, skip past this part, fast forward. But we do want to inform all our new viewers of where we are and what we're up to. And as those of you who have been following us know, we started on Roku TV, Vimeo.com, NGSCsports.com, and YouTube and LinkedIn, and our videos have been all over those social media platforms. But this week we started doing audio podcasts, and we're into a number of different podcast channels. And this allows you to download the audio, listen in your car, listen to it offline where you don't want to use video, you don't want to use data, whatever it may be. You can hear the same show, just audio only. And what podcast shows have we gone to, Joe?
We're on Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, and Pocket Cast.
So you can go to any of those, just search Ultimate Sports Channel, and you will find us. And we're starting to load more and more. We're doing our daily ones, but even some of our back ones we're loading on there. So a good chance to hear and see it in a different way. And we're happy to be doing that, and happy with our overall expansion. Also, ultimatesportschannel.com. We've upgraded the site. We really didn't use the site for much because we're all over these social media platforms, but we have now added a sports feed. So every day, go to ultimatesportschannel.com. We have a generic sports feed, so it's not about one sport. It's about all the sports, just like our channel is. And you can see all the daily highlights right there. And then, like I say, all the other places you can see us online and in podcasts. So anyway, that's where we are, new places. But we're talking, well, we're actually not just talking PGA. We're also talking over in Europe. And so we've got a PGA event, a little bit of a Snortfest this week, to be honest, in the PGA. Hate for a great company to have, and I've just forgot the sponsor.
John Deere.
John Deere. Sorry to have a great company like that have to have an event the week before the British Open, but most of the top golfers are over at the Scottish Open, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But there are a number of guys at this PGA event, and some guys that have been struggling, some guys kind of on the comeback, some of the new young guys, this is their opportunity, just like last week for Matt Wolff to get his first victory. This quite often happens and has often propelled careers when you win one of these weeks. Because you know what? A win's a win's a win. It may not have been against the best players, but you got to learn how to win, and Matt Wolff learned that last week.
John Deere is definitely a life-changing event because it's usually a young guy getting his first win, or an older guy getting back at it and getting to go over the British Open. They have a plane there waiting for them as soon as they win to get to go to the British. So, it's a great event because of this. They've been used to the date for a while now, but they've been able to pump out Jordan Spieth as a winner,
yeah.
Bryce DeChambeau as a winner. So they're used to the event. The event's great for that scenario, and that leads us to our picks, which is those guys exactly in those situations where it's either life-changing because they're back, or it's going to be a first win for somebody.
Well, and last week, guys, I gave you almost a huge long shot. And Joey Garber told a little story about Joey and my Joey playing together. Anyway, these golfers, we've mentioned this many times on the show, they get into rhythms, they get their game's good, all this kind of stuff. I'm coming right back with Joey Garber this week. Another big odds to get him, considering how he played last week. I'm just shocked the odds we're getting on him. I think you said 111 to 1 or something.
Yeah.
And those, he only missed by 2 shots last week. So, he's a value pick in my mind.
Well, in defense, the favorite's like 20 to 1. So
yeah, so exactly. Yeah, really nobody is a huge favorite. But these guys are on the rise, and when they get going good and playing well, and he played well last week, and I think he's going to come back with another one just like that. I also have my Canadian pick from last week that disappointed after the first round. But again, a guy, is you and I love the horses, and you see horses that finish second and third, and all of a sudden they're going to pop the win because they're there and they're doing well, but just not winning. Mackenzie Hughes from last week had a good start, didn't finish that great, but again, I think he's rounding into form to be the first Canadian. Adam Hadwin let us down last week again. Can we get a Canadian to win a second event? Is it ever going to happen?
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
Since Mike Weir, it's like nobody can win more than one.
And there's a lot of Canadians in this event. You got Nick Taylor as well, Svensson. Even Austin Connolly's popping up. He normally plays on the European Tour. He's come over to play this event. But yes, I do like Hughes' chances, but he's been only a 2-round player so far.
It's
so
been
we'll
amazing. So hopefully he put 4 rounds together. We desperately need a Canadian to start propelling himself above that 1-win scenario. Almost kind of like, well, that's what you do. You get 1 win and then you slack off and you just make money after that, which isn't a bad deal either. Talking about Adam Hadwin. I mean, again, last week, 250,000 or 300,000, whatever it was he won. Guy is in the cut all the time, inside top 50. But man, you know what? It'd be nice if he win, but he's getting 31. Like, he's getting there now. Like, I mean, past, hopefully he'll be a little bit in his prime, but he's been knocking on the door for a long time to get the second win. Hasn't been able to do it. So I'm looking for Mackenzie Hughes to do it. He won his first year out on tour, has not repeated, has had some okay finishes, but has not even kind of really tested the win again. So looking for that this week. I think he's on the uptick with the game. And I think we've got a good chance for him to win this week. So there's my 2 of my picks, and Joe, I'm forgetting my 3rd pick.
Your 3rd pick is actually Wyndham Clark.
Oh yeah, Wyndham Clark from last week. Again, another one who's rounding into form. He got a little bit on the lefts at the end of the round, started to choke up a little bit
afterwards,
and then he went the other way, and that typically happens when you haven't been near the lead a lot. In fact, I think he missed 7 cuts in a row going into the event. So, but we've seen guys do that. We talk about golf, and I just talked about golf and the upticks that happen. All those cuts missed, but then a good week, and then they should be able to build on that.
10 putter on tour. So.
Yeah, so when you can putt, you can win. And although you got to be able to handle that 4th round, which you didn't this week. But again, a guy who's playing better, and that's what I'm looking for from him. So my 3 picks are young guys looking for either their first win or their second win. These are the kinds of events this thing happens in while all the stars are over in Scotland. Enjoy, as usual, you're going with the older guys, the more experienced guys, to hopefully pop one out for you. And who have you got?
I got Jason Duffner.
One of my picks. I forgot he was in the field.
Duff needs to win,
him.
man.
Yeah,
he needs a good finish. He needs to have a good week here. I think he can. It's a short course. Scores are always really, really low. It's a pitch and putt for most of these guys out there. But it's a course where shorter hitters can really contend, and he's so straight. I think this is a week that he can easily pop up and get that win I talk about. Against a field that doesn't have maybe the big bombers in it. Is more his level of field, the second tier kind of.
I certainly like him because he looks more. I look more like him.
Everyone looks more like.
I was
Jason
glad
Duffner.
When he lost that weight a couple of years ago trying to win. I thought, that's not Duffner. Then the divorce and everything. He went back to his regular weight and looks more like the Duffner we know. So hopefully he can come back. I like to see the guys that have been around for a while also have success, and sometimes they just need this boost of a week. Field 1 week to get back in the winning
mode. He's definitely
mode.
one of those guys that could do it, and he can win. He's actually won like 8 events, so he can really win. So if he gets it going this week, with the putter, which we all know to be his Achilles heel, he can easily pop up and win the John Deere.
And he's won a major.
He won the PGA Championship. That was through a big year of his.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's at that level that if he won this week and went over the British should contend, but this week he can easily get a win. So I like him. I'm also going with Luke Donald, who by the way is 130 to 1 to win.
Former number 1.
Yeah,
130 to win.
Swing changes, then injuries have led him to this point, kind of in his career. But with that being said, he should be a heavy favorite as far as I'm concerned this week to have a good finish. He should be one of the most experienced guys out there. Plays really well again a shorter course. The way I look at it is if you see people at the top of the leaderboard at the RBC Heritage, you'll see them at the top of the leaderboard typically the John Deere. So short course, lots of birdies to be had. Luke Donald can easily do that if he gets hot with his game. Because he's still one of the best putters. So I'd like to see that experience. I'd like to see him bounce back. It's unfortunately how it's kind of gone downhill so fast for him. With obviously injuries, swing changes, that all kind of came together at the same time and fell off his world number 1 pedestal real fast.
Yeah,
so
man, did he
I'd like to see him come back and have a good week this week. Last one was Zach Johnson, who plays this event every year, which I think it's sponsorships is the reason why he's played. I think he's sponsored by John Deere.
Plus, he's not playing well enough to be in the major events.
Well, and he actually won a British Open after playing the John Deere, so I guess he's not too worried about it. I'm kind of shocked, though. You think you'd want to put more prep in the British, but he's played every year. Like I said, he's actually won a British Open, so who am I to say it's the wrong strategy? But won this event 3 times. I think 3 times. I want to say 3. So this is one of his favorite events. Really a week he should dominate because he's truly on the we always do levels. He's the best at this level.
Yeah,
and
easily,
middle or bottom of the top level, but that makes him so far the best in theory going into these events, and he's always close here. He finished second, I think, last year. So he's really
and horses for courses going back to our thoroughbred.
definitely horses for
stuff,
courses, but
like,
it's also just because he's the
three
he should be
wins.
the best out of this field. But yeah, he does love the course to go with it, so that's important too.
Well, and there's always guys who are best of the rest, and right now that's where he is in his career. He's late 30s. Doesn't hit the ball long, so you know.
If you notice, all these guys who don't hit it long are kind of falling off as they get older.
Yeah.
Because their short game they had to rely so much on the short game during their prime.
Now they got pressure.
And now they're kind of older. They maybe don't put as much work in on the short game because now they got families and businesses. And short hitters then can't compete if they're not dialing in the short game every second of the day because they're just not hitting it long enough. So Zach Johnson, Jason Duffner, Luke Donald, all the short hitters, we're all veterans who can easily get it done this week. Zach Johnson, my favorite to get it done this week, obviously for many reasons. Obviously, 3 wins, always there in the top 10.
Loves
arguably the best player, loves the course, and actually is qualified for the British Open. So in theory, playing under the least amount of pressure.
Yeah, he's
all these other guys need to win to get over there. So he's in theory playing very loose. He knows just another week for him. He's not worried about his career. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. But I like him.
Yeah, and you can't argue with experience like that for sure. So I'm looking at the young guys. You're looking at the old guys. Kind of funny. It should be the other way around from an old guy here. But I'm looking at the young guys getting it done for the first time or possibly a second time, making it happen this week. We'll see who wins out, youth or experience. It's going to be an interesting week, even though the tournament itself is not up there as far as the number of great players
Matt Wolff
that are out
is
there.
playing, by the way.
Yeah, and
I guess he didn't get into the British Open with his win. I didn't know that. So, another big week for him. He needs another win now to get to the British Open.
But typically we see the fall off when a guy gets his win. I'm sure there's been some parties this week looking at
I'd say
some odd dollars in your bank account right out of college.
Other young guys have a better chance.
Yeah, not it's always tough it's tough to repeat it. To be fair to him, it's tough to repeat on the PGA period. Never mind
to win on the
as a
PGA
young guy trying to get your second win in a row. I mean, that just doesn't happen very often. So anyway, there's our picks. Hopefully you do watch. It can always be exciting. It's one of the things that's really good. You don't need the greatest players to always have an exciting finish because the leaderboard might be close here and give us an exciting finish either way. Get a chance to know and see some of the new guys and remember some of the older guys that are struggling to get that career back.
But now let's go across.
Let's go across the pond to the Scottish Open, which is typically the prep for the British Open. Although I think I heard, and I can't verify, but I believe no one's won the Scottish Open and the British Open in the same year.
Mickelson has.
Just Mickelson. Okay.
So Mickelson has.
I was worried about being wrong on that one.
The one time he won the British Open in 2013, he did win the Scottish Open the week before, but he's the only one to ever do it. It's obviously very difficult to go back to back.
Yeah.
Ever, and doing it with a major as your second event is extremely difficult. But we do have a great field. We have picks, but we want to talk about just a great field they got over there. Yeah. It's great to see. That's the one advantage of being over there before the British Open is that you do get that guys who want to play, they get the experience of the climate, the type of golf. Obviously helps if it's somewhat close by.
And jet lag and everything else they're dealing with.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. It should be a good event, though. They're really looking at what the field they got. So that's 2 good events on the European Tour leading to the British Open. So it should be a lot of fun this week and a couple Americans as well. So let's get into our picks.
Yeah, and I mean, last week Ron was already over there playing in the Irish Open. So these guys are tuning up for the British Open, getting over there, getting over the jet lag and all that, which you have to really do to play well. So my pick this week, my number 1 pick is Ricky Fowler. Obviously, I picked him before. You picked him before. We both love him as a golfer.
He won this event 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, with like 5 birdies in the last 6 holes, I think it was. He can put the birdies up. We know all that. He's got to start. I don't even know if there's time for him to win a major, but he needs to win one badly. I think there's one other guy ahead of him right now that would be the best player never to win a major. I'm trying to think of who it is.
Kuchar would be.
Maybe Kuchar, yeah. But eventually he's going to fall to Ricky because either Kuchar will go outside the age you expect him to win or whatever it may be. So Ricky needs to start doing this. He needs to get a major under his belt. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I think this week, again, when you won a tournament before like he has, he's going to be comfortable out there. And I'm looking for Ricky to be number 1. Funny you mentioned Kuchar. I've got Kuchar as my number 2 pick. Again, anytime you're over in Britain, what do? You have to stay out of the rough. And so Kuchar's game suits that. I think he'll do that again. It's all going to be about how close can he hit it on the greens and make some putts. He won those early events. He's been close all year. The closest part of Kuchar's mantra. He's been in the top 10 probably more than anybody else, maybe than Jim Furyk, but has not been able to pop up a ton of wins. Then he won early this year, but then he's gone back to being close again and not winning. But
well, he won again, but he's won 2 softer events,
Yeah.
which he should do, and then he's been contending the big events. But we'll see. You want 2 guys who want to break their major drought. You're also picking them to win the week before, which most guys don't win the major after they win. So, real nice guy over here.
Well, since they haven't won the major, add to their stack of regular wins. And who's my third guy? I forgot.
Poulter.
Oh, Poulter. Of course, I just love even Poulter. Ryder
doesn't?
Cup, all those kinds of things. He says what he means. He's talking all the time. He's
And by the
funny all
way, it
time.
was actually really good at the Canadian Open. I know people think he's a bit of a hard ass. He was so funny during the Pro-Am.
Yeah.
He went the wrong way a couple times. He just asked fans where to go. He didn't know where to go, so he just walked up to fans. Where's the first hole? I remember one time he walked the wrong way, and they're like, no, it's this way, it's this way. He goes, I just wanted to see the fans. I just want to walk. And then in the Pro-Am, he was like, you think with all this jet lag, I'd try to hit it better so I don't have to stay out here as long. and stuff like that. So I want to just quickly say it was a great experience watching him, and we walked with him because there's not many people out when he teed off in the Pro-Am. I just want to say he was actually very, very personable.
Well, he's a great personality for the game of golf. And we all remember, in case you don't remember, Ian's career was almost over other than someone finding a mathematical error. If you can imagine with all the computers these days. And he went out and won the next week after that error and then has been playing great golf ever since. So that's how sometimes it's just timing, sometimes it's just aura, kismet, whatever you want to call it. Almost about to lose his card, gets a mathematical thing fixed up, and then he goes on and wins. And now, of course, he's had 2 great years since then. So I'm looking forward to having a great week this week. I don't know if he'll win, but he's always fun to watch, and that's what I'm looking forward to in the Scottish Open this weekend.
All right, and I am going with Rory McIlroy to start off.
Well, that's surprised you're going with one of the favorites.
Yeah, I don't feel like he, based on his interviews, I feel like it's kind of like the U.S. Open. He doesn't care which one he wins. He just wants to win again. So I feel like he's actually going to dedicate himself to trying to win this event. Obviously, the British Open's actually in his hometown of Northern Ireland, so it's a lot of pressure there. So I think you'd like to get the win here first, and then kind of go into that one a little bit more free, knowing he's won this one.
But also, he put a thing out this year about wanting to win all the Opens, all the country Opens.
He does. So he wants to win all these Opens, and that's why he came to Canada, actually, was to win it.
Because he doesn't think he can win the majors, so
honestly,
he wants to have a different thing.
I don't mind it either, though. Like, you're right. I think he came up with it going, if I won all the Open,
who else has done that?
Right? So the Scottish Open is on his list. So, actually, might even be the last. No, he hasn't won the Australian Open either. But anyways, this is one of them on his list. It's another Open. He has not won it yet. I think he's dedicated to win it. He's actually talked about wanting to win it. Yeah. Unlike some of these guys, they're simply using it for preparation. So I really like his chances. He's obviously the most talented player. Yeah. So now he's putting his mind to it as well. And essentially, what is an off week, off week as far as like it's not a PGA Tour field. It's a mostly European field, and then these top guys come in. So he should have an advantage over that. Is what I'm trying to get at. He's gonna put his mind to it. Yeah, I feel like Thomas is not there to win it. I feel like he's there for practice. Man. I feel like Ricky
got to come back.
Could win it, but isn't there to win it. I feel like Rory's talked about he wants to be there to win it. He wants to win all these Opens. He wants to play well. I think in the stretch of the Scottish and the British, he wants to win one of the two. Obviously, this is obviously his advantage over the British. Obviously based on the field. I think I like his chance. I think he'll do well. Next, I'm going to go with Hong Tong Lee, and he's been a favorite of mine for a long time. Ever since I saw him almost take down Dustin way early in the year over in Europe there. I was really impressed with his game, a young man from China. I think he can have a good week this week, no problem. He's played on the European Tour most of the year. Shown his stuff kind of over here at the Dell Match Play.
He's been there,
in the World Golf Championship. He's done just pretty good, to be honest with you. I'm pretty happy with what I've seen. So Scottish Open is a week he can easily pop up and win a big one and start some confidence for this young man. Yeah. Lastly, I'm gonna go with Oppie Bonrat, Hideki
You
Oppie
just
Bonrat.
like to say his name.
Yeah,
you say his name throughout the whole telecast.
He's amazing. It is the greatest name I've ever seen.
And the best interview too.
The best interview. He said he only plays golf for models and cars. So I love his attitude. Big man, great personality. He's just it's just awesome to see him out there, kind of owning his thing and strutting his stuff. Like it's really it's him out there. So
he hasn't been in the gym in a while.
No, that's what I mean. I love it. And he's just it's just cool, and the way he talks is so real. like, you need the money to get models and cars, buddy. So I think it's a good thing. But, he's a fun guy to watch. I love the name. Good person. A good player, too, by the way. Obviously, I joke about his interviews and kind of doing his own thing. But I just love it. I love someone who can own the way they play.
Yeah, and why they're there. Yeah,
that's why they're there, man. And I love it. And what a cool name. So I just hope he gets it done. I'd love to see Oppie Bomber out on the Scottish Open.
You just want to see the English announcers or Scottish announcers with their accent trying to say his name.
I think
that's our part of it.
It'll be quite some fun. So those are my three there. A great feel, like I said. You got Justin Thomas there as well. So it's going to be
Justin to get going, man. Like you understand the suffering of injury. You've been a year coming back from yours. He's started a couple times and has not been good. And then you start to lose your confidence once you can't get it back quickly,
that's what happened
right?
to me, right?
Then the process seems to be so long,
Yeah.
and staying positive and going out there every day. You're heading out right now for 6 hours of practice. Like, to be able to do that and make it all the way back it's so much work. And I think we're seeing that in Thomas. He probably played too early because he wanted to see if he could get success with more months of recuperating.
That plus he wanted to test the U.S. Open. He's at a stage of careers where it's not about money or regular tournaments. It's about majors. So he really wanted to play the U.S. Open at Pebble, and I think he wanted to test it. He's not looked good. I don't think he has any chance at the British Open, to be honest with you. There's no way he can handle the fescue if he ever got in it. These bunkers are deep bunkers, so you need to have quick hands.
Well, you mentioned that. This is actually a danger. I'm actually surprised he might even be playing in this Scottish Open here, unless he planned to go home if it's not good. Like, if this is to not embarrass himself in the British Open, maybe.
Well,
but you can really hurt yourself in this festival.
I would say I
would not play this tournament.
I don't see him playing the FedEx Cup
if
it's as bad as I think.
Yeah.
Which I still think is bad. Now, he's played a lot of golf, so he must think it's okay, but I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I don't know. I've seen guys push themselves over injuries to try and get back quickly, and I don't know why he's over there. This is one that in the fescue here, you could really hurt that wrist again, so I don't get it. But anyway, I know that the competitive desires are there. You want to play the majors. I guess you could have any week that you can be great. But I'd be staying home and prepping for the FedEx Cup if I were him.
I think most guys would take the risk and not play the FedEx Cup, I think. Give him so much time off. You got to remember, at the end of the day, he could even play this, take 6 weeks off and play the final.
Because he can wait.
Because he can wait. Cup. So, at that level, you have so many options, but priorities are priorities. And let's be honest, he would rather risk it all. If you told him you're not going to play until the Masters of next year, but you're going to win the British Open, these guys will take that chance.
Sure, if you're going to win a major, but it's a high risk. It's really a high risk for what could be more time off. I mean, that's what I'm worried about here is that he gets in there, he tries to hit a hero shot.
Well, his dad is his coach. Obviously, they believe the wrist is good to go. He hasn't complained about it. I'll give him that credit. I just don't think his game's there. Regardless of whether what he's telling us, whether he's healthy or not healthy, his game's not there. Bottom line is, I don't see him contending this week. Don't see him contending next week. We would like to see him get going in the future because he's a good young American star.
Yeah.
But
I think he's too young to take this risk, in my mind. If you're older and you don't know if you'll get back, you don't know how many years you're going to have to play, at that top level, but he's young. He should make sure he's ready to go. Maybe he is. Obviously, we're not talking to his doctors now. I've just seen the way he's played. It's been terrible.
It's been bad.
Not even close to good.
It's been bad.
It would be one thing, let's say he played 16 good holes and he had 2 triples. I'd actually be okay with that because that means he's playing pretty good golf. He's just not been good.
Well, he was 7 under the Canadian Open for 4 days.
Yeah.
He has made those numbers though that you're talking about. He's made those triple bogeys. He's lost some balls off the tee that he doesn't normally do. He's a fast swinger. He's a small player who has a swing speed of 125.
Those wrists need to be in great shape.
Yeah. So we'll see going forward. But this week, let's focus on Rory winning the tournament. So I'm right. I think he goes back to back. I think it's a legendary 2 weeks for Rory. You win this week, man. You go back to back. You win in your hometown of Northern Ireland. Get golf back up there with you and on your side. I think that'd be epic. I hope that's what happens.
Yeah.
Long odds, but I hope that's what happens.
Well, from the game of golf perspective, we always talk about who makes a difference, and certainly he is a guy who could. He's got to get to major number 5. He has to win another major so as he goes in the next few years, because in his 30s, you got to get it done. You and I were looking at the records. People think, Jack won 1 in 40s, and Tiger won 1 in 40. Yeah, but all before 42.
So you got to win
after 43, which was Tiger's win.
Yeah.
Only Jack of the top guys won after 43.
I'd say
very difficult.
I'd say if Rory got to 5, you'd have to win 10 in your 30s, get you to 15, and and then you need to win 3 in your 40s.
Yeah, and you got to be. That's got to go really well for you. So he needs to get going. Here's the point: he's been on 4 for what, 8 years. So he needs to win the 5th to have any chance here. He's choked at every one of the majors. He's got to come up with a big one. He's in his hometown. He's in his home country. If he can't do it here, then I question whether he's going to do it at all. But we need to get him going. He needs to have this 5th one. He's turning 30, I think. Real
30.
close. Yeah.
30.
So so he's got to start winning. 1 a year for sure, and any year he can do more, and that's going to help. So anyway, I don't think he's going to do it, but I'm cheering for Rory for the game of golf and how good it would be for the game of golf. So that's it. 2 tournaments to watch this week. I'm not sure what the Scottish Open be on TV.
It's on Golf Channel.
Is it Golf Channel? Okay.
It will be on regular TV on the weekend.
Will it? Okay.
Early in the morning, so if you wake up at 8 o'clock, you got nothing to watch. That in Wimbledon could be a fun Saturday, Sunday morning. So Wimbledon coming to the end as well. So every morning you can turn it on and have some golf and tennis to watch. And then in the afternoon, watch the PGA Tour.
And then a crazy big week in tennis. We're going to come off and do our tennis show
tonight.
For tonight, once the matches are all over today. And actually a bigger week in tennis than it is in golf for this week. So we'll be back. As usual, we will update after the cut on Friday for both tournaments. Saturday morning, have a show for you on who we think is going to win if it's not our guys already. And other than that, have a great summer day.